We're gonna start the show, people. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? How dead is that joke? Looks like we have an excellent connection and we're streaming and we're up and going. And it's just me, and that's okay. Welcome to the Fifth Dimension, people. Gonna hang out tonight, do a little live streaming. I'm gonna share this with all the wonderful people on Twitter. All the good people, as I like to say. Oh, I don't know if I did that right. I did not. There we go. I don't know if anyone's watching this, but if you are, I'm figuring out how to share this because apparently I'm watching it. There we go. It's up. It's up and we're good to go. Welcome to Friday, people. It's not Friday. Is it Friday? It is Friday. I took some time off of work, so my days are a little mixed up. But yeah, it's Friday, and that's why we're here, to talk about Season 3, Episode 26 of the Twilight Zone original series, Little Girl Lost. Now, before we get going with this episode, I am going to make sure that this week we have absolutely not one piece of copywritten material on the show, so that I don't have to do any work and we don't have to lose any of the video on the stream and people can watch it later, which I thought would be cool. But anyway, here we are, and it's just me tonight, no Cooper. Hopefully that's not an issue. I don't know if I'm going to be able to carry the show without him. He definitely has a way with the reactions, and he knows how to play the YouTube. This is really might not keep happening for me. I just like to play around with the cameras and the lights and set things up, and I'm having fun doing it. So I know a couple of people like hanging out and watching, so I figured, what the hell? If anyone is watching, can you hear me? Does the sound okay? Do we need to turn it up before we start the show? I don't know why I'm talking like this. It's kind of weird. Yeah. I have a hard time. I don't want to overperform for you guys. We're just hanging out, watching the show. So say something if you can hear me. If not, we are going to start the show at 10 o'clock. It's 9:57 by my time. I can tell you a little bit about this episode. The little that I know about it, I know it was written by Richard Matheson based on a short story that he wrote, and it was actually a short story that was based on something that I guess actually really happened to him. In the sense that, you can hear me good? Awesome. Good to hear. Good to know. Or is that just a thumbs up that it's working? Don't know. Not a lot of info and 2 thumbs up. But I appreciate 2 thumbs up. It's like Siskel and Ebert over here. Roger and Ebert. Roger Ebert is one guy. Siskel and Ebert were the 2 people. Ebert, I think, left. There was some fallout before he had the mouth cancer issue. I don't know why we're going down that road. But either way, I can hear some walking around going on upstairs, and it's distracting me right now. But we're going to start the show soon. We're going to do a little live commentary on Little Girl Lost, like I said, written by Matheson, based on a story that kind of actually happened to him, or at least he said something similar had happened to where his daughter had cried in the middle of the night. He went to go look for her, searching underneath her bed, couldn't find her, and eventually he was able to see that she had rolled up against the wall underneath the bed, and it was just a very bizarre occurrence. And the writer brain of his, as he put it, kind of went to work and he crafted this story that a lot of people, Matheson himself, say that it's probably the beginning of, not the beginning, but it was probably, how do I put this? Spielberg probably took the idea to create the whole poltergeist universe, right? It's very much and very closely based on this story and this idea. Matheson apparently didn't want to go after Spielberg for this because he felt like he wouldn't have been able to win in a legal battle. And even beyond that, he felt as though Spielberg had made it up to him in a sense, because he gave him other jobs that he felt were commensurate to paying him for stealing his idea for Poltergeist, right? Which, again, there's other people that would argue that it's just kind of loosely based on that idea, right? I've never seen Poltergeist, so I don't know. I have no clue whatsoever. What I do know is I am missing out on having someone else here to play off of, because that's what makes this fun. But it's 10 o'clock, so we can start the show. I'm going to watch it on Netflix. It's season 3, episode 25. I'll get into more of the backstory behind some of the creation of the episode, maybe as we go along, but definitely this week on the podcast and maybe on the blog too, or the companion to the podcast. So, but also too, a good source of information is the Night Gallery's blog and also the Twilight Zone Vortex. So if you don't really feel like searching out the books that are out there, and there's a plethora of books, there's a ton of free info out there that is really well written and fun to go through. Most of the stuff that you're going to find me writing about probably centers around me, right? So that's kind of how things go. But if the two of you are ready to watch this together, I'm assuming let's watch it. It could be fun. And I gotta admit, if we do this again next week and there's only 2 people, there's a good chance I'm not gonna do it the following week, because I already lost my cohort in the matter. I think Cooper probably was like, Dad, I think live streaming to 4 people is a little lame, and you got to kind of reevaluate what you're doing in life. And he might be right. The kid's got a lot more YouTube followers than I do, and he's pretty awesome. So either way, let's get this rolling. I am going to have to put on some headphones because there's absolutely no feedback. So I'm floundering here if it seems a little silly. But I tried to gussy up the 5th dimension a little bit, throw some lights up, a little blue in the background for everybody. Thought that would be fun. I've got the headphones set up. Hopefully it's quiet enough. It won't pick it up on the microphone. And we can watch this together. I got to get it set up. Like I said, I'm going to watch it on Netflix. You can watch it however you're going to watch it. I'm going to watch it at the beginning, and we'll try to watch it together. I got a haircut. Anybody notice that? Forgot to wear my hat. And the kitty is here. I don't know where she's at. I just saw her running around. Oh. I want to do a little countdown so everybody can watch this together. I realize there's just 2 of us. If you're ready, 2 people, we'll start this. Ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2. I think if there were more people here, I would be more excited and like do some fun stuff. It's just weird for me to try to create or manufacture excitement to a crowd of no one, right? But we're live. We're doing it live. Either way. We were on 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to hit play now. Ready? And when I say play, that's when I'm hitting play. So I didn't hit it yet. You ready? I know I counted down. Do I have to count down again? I don't want to count down again. Are you guys ready? All right. 3. I was going to start at 4. 2. You ready? Here we go. 1. Don't skip the intro. It gives you the option to skip the intro. I'm not going to, I mean, you could skip it, but then you're going to be off if you're watching this as a commentary. You know, I don't know if there's a commentary for this episode on the Blu-ray. I didn't check. I would imagine that there is. This is a pretty, like I said, this is a pretty this is, there's a lot of baggage with this episode, right? And there's a lot of homages that came later. We talked about The Simpsons spoofing To Serve Man. Well, they also spoofed this episode. So it already opens up in a really pretty dark and creepy way, just with the voice, right? The voice seems really strange. That's because the voice is a woman off screen, Rhoda Williams, an adult woman, who was basically, she was reading the lines on set, I believe, for the actors to react to. I got to admit, I'm going to get into more on this on the podcast, but as much as I like this episode, and I like this episode, I think it's badass. That's a stretch. These two they are some drips and a half. She's either way over the top, and he is just your cookie cutter late 1950s, early 60s dad. What are you doing, baby kitty? Why don't you come visit? I could use a partner. My cat was running. I don't know if you could see her back there. So he can't find his daughter, right? That voice is so creepy. Now, granted, it makes the episode awesome because it's creepy. It's a very creepy voice, but it's misleading, right? In my mind. I think the first time I saw this, I was like, what the hell's going on? And I hadn't seen this before I started getting into this Twilight Zone podcast. This wasn't one I remembered whatsoever, which I know might be sacrilege or crazy, but hey, you're like the only one watching. You can't text me. Hopefully this is working. Now, I wanted to point something out there. Here, one thing I want to point out is you can see in his behind Serling's right shoulder, you can see the outlines of what they're going to draw later on in the episode, right? But not only that, you can see Serling look at his cue right before he starts talking from either the director or the assistant director or the cameraman. Someone off screen gave him a cue, and you can 100% see him do that, or at least take that cue and then start the narration. What I will say, though, it was a valiant effort, right? I really like that whip pan, J. Sarge, buddy. We got the whip pan going. Now I'm being distracted by text messages, which I should have put that down. But it happened to be one of the people listening, so you're interacting live. Oh my God, she's horrible. Did you see her? She had high heel slippers. What is that? High heel slippers? I need some interaction in this chat, people. Let me get some talking going. Someone to talk to. Cooper's not here. She looks very familiar to me, and I thought at first the first person that came to mind was this comedian Erica Rhodes, but she slightly resembles her, but not at all. It's this. I don't know what's going on with this chick. Sarah Marshall. I'm forgetting you, Sarah Marshall, big time. You're very forgettable, as is this dude. But my boy's about to come. It's just not going to be very good. Hold on. Bear with me. Oh, man. Can you hear me now? There's always something. Something always fails. right? It's probably shitty. Let me see. The battery died on my wireless mic. Hello. You must be able to hear something now. It's probably not nearly as good. Hold on, let me see here. We're technically professionals here inside the fifth dimension, doing a live commentary. Now they lost the fucking dog. What the hell are they gonna do? I can't find the chat. Now I've got my computer kind of set up weird, and so it's difficult for me to... Alright, great. I guess we have sound again. Unfortunately, it would be nice to have the better sound, right? Because I know that right now this is probably not great. But I don't have an extra set of batteries right here. That's so strange to me. That's weird. I thought I changed these. Chris! What the hell you need me for? I'm a goddamn physicist. Yeah. So I called you, right? The dog went under there. What do you... Yeah. There's just shit that falls apart in this episode. As fun and as awesome as it is, the idea of a fourth dimension and the idea of this chick falling behind, right? Or falling through this portal. J Sarge knows all about portals. Charles Aiden, right? Charles Aiden was also in one of my favorite episodes, And When the Sky Was Open from season 1. Awesome episode. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it, then listen to our podcast about it. I think I did it with Anthony. I can't remember who I did it with, but I love that episode. Maybe Abel. Can't remember. I don't even know if it's a good podcast, but it's a great episode. I will ask you, how is the sound? Is it halfway decent, terrible, good? No, this dude's Bill. I was gonna call him Charles. His name's Bill. Bill's got some fucked up shoes too. You know what I could do? I could grab just a handheld mic and hold a mic, which would make it easier. Testing. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, the batteries are definitely gonna die on this again though. So you might be able to hear me pretty well, but it's not going to last, unfortunately. Oh. No, come on, you dumb bitch. You're not going to step on her. You crazy? I'm a goddamn physicist. Take it easy, huh? I actually wrote down a couple of things that did make me laugh when I watched this earlier. I was trying to come up with some funny things to keep me talking because I knew Cooper wasn't going to be here, which I think I already talked about it, the slipper heels. And I don't know if you noticed, now that's a dope effect because they don't use any opticals. When he puts his hand through that wall, great, I hope it lasts. The battery's not going to last very long on this. That was actually, that's a good shot too right there. It looks like a diopter shot. It's not. It's just a really, I don't know what they did there. If that's a wide angle shot, just close up. But man, and you know who's back? George T. Clemens. We had Jack Swain on the last episode. This aired on March 16th, 1962. But see, he puts his hand right through the wall. And apparently they shot a scene with, what's her name? Stacy, the little girl. I should know her name. Tracy Stratford. Yeah. I need to dye my eyebrows, damn it. She looks like a mouse or something. I don't know. I don't mean to be so critical of her physical appearance, but don't get me wrong, I'd be lucky to date someone as beautiful as her, for sure, but as far as just women go in the Twilight Zone, she leaves a lot to be desired as far as a character goes, and I think that's why I immediately kind of attacked what she physically gives me, her physical appearance. Like, what is she doing right now? I'm going catatonic with my daughter. My daughter's she's in another world. My hair's perfectly messed up, and I have high heel slippers. So anyway, I didn't continue about this effect. Apparently they had two, they basically took two pieces of wall, the way I understood it, and blasted light through the one side of it. I don't know, I have to read more about it, but apparently it was a practical effect that they did on set. George Clemens, the director of photography, came up with it. To the fourth dimension. That's awesome. This episode would be fucked if it wasn't for Aiden. It would fall apart. And actually, I gotta say, he's drawing these X's on the wall right now, and then eventually is going to draw those lines that we saw behind Serling. He does a pretty good job, and he does it on camera. So I wonder how many times they rehearsed that ahead of time. And if it sounds like I'm shouting, having these on is kind of weird. So God damn it, Bill, but you're a physicist. You should have known there was a fucking portal here. Why'd you let me buy this house? What's up with that bear in the corner? What's his deal? Oh, it was the girl's room. Obviously, I'm an idiot. I forgot. I need J Sarge. You gotta get here to play off of. I need somebody to. I actually do like this explanation where he's like, the fourth dimension exists, perpendicular to us, but not always parallel, but sometimes those parallel lines line up. It's a great, it's an interesting story for sure to explore, but again, there's so much stuff in this episode for sure that make it fall apart, and it's the performance of mom and dad, the fact that they used Rhoda Williams' adult voice to imitate Tracy Stratford, and then there's a part, I'll try to point it out at the end, where actually they use both of their voices, which is weird too. Oh my god. I think there's a point where even Bill's like, all right, easy. let's relax. Let's figure this shit out. Right here. Right here, he comes over, he starts walking away, he's like, all right. The director's not going to calm things down. Too big. You're working too big. I can only bring it down so much. Paul Stewart ain't fucking saying shit. Paul Stewart's the director. Do some shit. Now he's blocking the scene. No, anyway, before this episode went out, Matheson was actually, I'm going to include the letter in the blog post this week and maybe talk about it on the podcast, but Matheson was not happy with what Serling and Houghton were doing with his scripts. And he wrote to them and basically said, can you give me a better director? I don't like what Hayes did with The Invaders. And he thought Agnes Moorehead was just chewing the scenery and went way overboard. And basically suggested a few names of who he'd like to direct his episodes, right, that were coming up that he knew he was contracted to still do with the Twilight Zone. And Serling sent him a reply that was pretty straightforward and pretty frank and curt. Now, I'm going to include that. I'm not going to get into it right now. But also in that reply, Serling was like, listen, Buck Houghton's kind of upset that you even sent this letter. We're working our balls off trying to make this innovative, exciting new show, and you're bitching and moaning about having some of the best episodes that we've had to date. And I think he ended up noting specifically The Last Flight, which was in season 1, which is a great time travel episode if you haven't seen it. Definitely one of my favorites, which I did with the great Anthony 25, who's no longer with us, but he's here in our hearts, people. No one's talking to me or watching. It's just me shaking my hands. I'm just kidding, but this is fun. And if it's working, it's working. Did we lose? We lost the good sound again, didn't we? I bet the sound went down. Either way, whatever. We'll fix that next time. One of these days I'll get it right. I have one other audio source that I could import. I'm not sure what exactly it would sound like, though. So that might be super loud. I have no idea. Maybe that's better. I have no idea if that sounds good or if that just made it a lot worse. Listen to me, Chris. I'm a goddamn physicist. Now this is my favorite part of the story. It's definitely what I take away of being something that I've noticed something similar that I'm working on right now that has kind of like a similar idea as far as the skewing of perception through dimensions and shit like that. Now, I haven't read anything about it. I haven't talked to any physicists. I've just coming up with some shit in my brain, which obviously the shit in my brain is not always a good idea as we sit here with... I'm just kidding. Does it look better than last week? That's what I want to know. If you can just, if we could get a little feedback on that. Because I know last week the color was really sapped out of it. Come on, baby. Don't forget Sarah Marshall. I have a rat face. It sounds like the dog is tearing her apart, if you guys are watching along. I have to say, The Simpsons really do a great job of lampooning, not only lampooning this episode, but paying a pretty decent homage to it. And it's got the classic Homer line, it's like something from that Twilight-y show, Out of That Zone. Something silly like that. I almost feel like if I'm gonna do a live stream, I should probably even plan something more fun or overact. Like, that's the thing, I don't want to do that. It's not gonna happen. It ain't. It's just not. But then, yeah, don't let my wig fall off, damn it. That's got to be a wig, right? Is that a wig? Look at those eyebrows. Now that is that I hate that cut. If you're watching that, there's this weird cut where they obviously had to put in this effect scene, but it just, that's cool. Now apparently they shot, like I said at the beginning, a scene of her, the daughter, walking through, but they didn't include it. Now, I dig this. They double exposed some of the scenes onto these mirror balls and then through an optical printer, and Meryl Pye was the art director, and I think in the script, Richard Matheson actually wrote something to the effect of, let Meryl Pye run down the street and do whatever the hell he wants. So he pretty much had creative license to create this world, and I think we've seen better attempts on the Twilight Zone. I don't think it's terrible, though. I dig it. I definitely dig it. And I also think maybe we're seeing a little influence of the 60s at this point, trying to hook some more people. It's on late night on Friday. What the hell are you watching, Brian? That's pretty cool, man. The older brother comes home. It's tripping me out, man. Why is he yelling for the daughter? Where's his daughter, man? Where's his daughter? Now that kind of looks like a weird alien butthole. I don't know what's going on there. I see her walking there, but And I do like that. I love the fog machine. Anytime there's a fog machine included in a production, I seem to like it. I think we need to use a fog machine around here more. I have one. If I do this again, maybe I'll include it. There'll be some fog in the room. Might be bad for the mining farm. I don't know. Had to have the exhaust going at the same time. Now I have to admit, his face he was a good choice based on his face and his facial expressions, especially for these scenes. But all in all, dude's a dud. Andrea, what's up? Someone else is here, talking. Yay. God, it's creepy. And I think it's a nice way to pull people in, too. They seem to be doing that more and more with the third season, as far as kind of swinging for the fences with the gags a little bit. As you see To Serve Man, this one, The Fugitive, they got the silly monster suit. They're starting to play into maybe some of the tropes to try to be like, hey, we're not super artsy. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I know that they weren't signed on at this point, I think, for season 4. Oh, I was deep in... You didn't feel me, Bill. You didn't feel me, Chris, but I was deep inside you. Parallel dimensions. I don't even want to think about it. But does your ass hurt? I'm glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out. We had some sound issues. I'm not exactly sure if it's good now, if it's bad now. The end is great as far as the dialogue between Bill and Chris. If you think about them having gay sex, it's funny. I mean, not that gay sex is funny, but it's funny in that context. I think it's funny. But I'm glad that a few of you came and hang out. It was a lot of fun. I had fun watching it. And I think if I do decide to do this again, maybe I will try to, I don't know, let more people know about it so there's more people hanging out. I know it seems kind of pretentious doing like the YouTube thing. You could just do a Zoom thing and everybody wants to hang out together. I don't want to do that. This is how we're going to do the watch parties. But I had fun. And next time I'll make sure the batteries are set up. And maybe we'll do it next week. Maybe we won't. But either way, thanks for hanging out. And have a great week. Hope you check out the podcast. And I'll probably write something Monday or Tuesday. And then keep going with the show and all that stuff. All right, people. See you.